What's up? This is Chakra Zulu, aka Ogu Forelli, formerly known as Beer Before Breakfast. And I got to give you this brief dissertation today to let you know that tomorrow, your so called Independence Day holiday is a motherfucking scam. Why? It's a cover up for May the 1st, which is Illuminati Day. How was July the 1st a cover up for May the 1st? Well, excuse me, July the 4th, a cover up for May the 1st. Well, the number 23 is a Masonic number, just like the number 13 is. So what they did was they simply broke it down in the simplest fashion. They took 23, they took the 2, and they pushed that off on the month of May and gave you July. And they took the 3 and put it on the date, which is the 1st, and you add 3 to that, you got the 4th. And you got a lot of naysayers and skeptics who gonna be like, oh, how you came up with that? Yeah, I came up with that one night standing outside looking up at the stars, blazing some good kush. And so some of y'all might say, oh, well, that's just some shit you dreamed up. No, that was a divine channeling. That I got that from the cosmic frequencies. And for those higher beings, those enlightened ones, who are on a higher level than even the so-called conscious community is, you know what I'm talking about. Like I said, it's simple mathematics. May the 1st, July the 4th. May, June, July, that's 2 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 3 days. It's real simple mathematics. And the reason why I say it was a scam because the U.S. never got its independence from Great Britain. Didn't know dozen or so motherfuckers with no shoes fight off a whole armada fleet. It didn't happen. You couldn't even dream that up in Hollywood. It never did that even take place. We're still under the rule of England's thumb. All of our laws are based on British laws. America has been the puppet for the United Kingdom, the royal family or what have you, the same as the royal family and America have been puppets for Israel. They call Israel the 51st state. And another thing about Israel, that's where ISIS comes from. ISIS stands for Israeli State Intelligence Service. So all this talk about fighting ISIS and doing this and that and whatever and blaming ISIS for this, that's a government created entity, a U.S. government created entity that Israel went in on and told America, hey, this is the latest decoy, this is the latest common enemy that we're going to put up, to distract people from what's really going on, or, they're going to be the scapegoat for everything that goes down, so so people won't be able to put 2 and 2 together. So that's my dissertation. Happy Slave Day, non-Independence Day. For all of y'all celebrating it and whatever, hey, and if you still want to get out there and get that barbecue, not knowing the history of where barbecue came from, which came from lynchings, because one thing they're not gonna tell you about black people getting lynched in America was that wasn't no lynching without a barbecue pit. What is a barbecue pit? Hey, after they hung you, they chopped your body up into pieces and, had a field day, on some cannibal shit. And, that's where picnics originated. You see these romantic picnic settings that people try to depict in certain imagery. They were doing the same thing, romantic and all. Only difference was they had some black person hanging from a tree, dangling and shivering, fighting for their lives. you know. And when I tell you that they chopped us up and ate every piece of us, they ate every piece of us, you know, from the toes to the asshole, you know. And they were doing this in the modern day 20th century. They got pictures of George Bush and his daddy, Prescott Bush, who was a state senator, standing in front of a black man who was castrated and then hung. You know, all you got to do is go look it up. You ain't got to believe me, you know. But again, when you out there frying and grilling and doing all this other stuff, and you wiping it down with that barbecue sauce is a substitute for the blood. Believe that. Why you think it look like it do? The only thing they did was replace black people's body parts with chicken and sausage and ribs and all this other stuff. Where you think they got those ideas from? They wasn't thinking about slaughtering animals and stuff like that when they first started barbecuing. We were the first meal on the barbecue pit before any of that shit. So I'm going to end it right there. I ran a little bit longer than I wanted, but at the same time, that information was just as vital. Again, that's cosmic channeling. When the spirit hits you, you just compelled to just, say what's on the heart. So I'm going to leave it there. Feel free to refute it. Feel free to contradict it. It don't matter. Again, all you got to do is look it up. Just because you don't believe it, don't make it any less true. So that's what it is. Abrahadabra.